There are nights when I stand beneath the quiet spell of the stars and feel the world hold its breath, as if it remembers something tender that once existed between two hearts, unafraid of distance. In that silence, your name trembles like a whisper against my thoughts, and I feel you near, though the miles try to insist on their separation. Love for me has become a kind of architecture, something that builds itself from longing, shaping invisible bridges between our souls. I walk across them in my mind, barefoot and trembling, holding the memory of your touch as if it were the light of dawn. You are both my ache and my comfort, my forever unfolding secret. Each time I reach for you, I touch something infinite, something that hums with the rhythm of belonging. Even when the world sleeps, I know the air carries traces of your breath, guiding me through the corridors of dream and devotion where our hearts continue speaking their shared language. Sometimes I imagine us meeting again, not in the way the world defines reunion, but in the hush where time forgets itself. I picture you standing there, sunlight breaking gently across your face, your eyes telling me everything words never could. The air would hold its breath, and I would know that no distance was ever real, only a shadow between the light of what we were destined to find. I would step toward you, and the bridge between our souls would pulse like a living heartbeat, humming through the air. Love, for me, is no longer a simple emotion. It's an existence shaped by your presence, even when unseen. It's the steady echo of your laughter across the fragile walls of memory, the promise that no river can divide what was once joined by purpose. I would say nothing at all, because my silence would carry your name. And in that quietness, we would become whole again. Every day that passes feels like another stone placed along the path leading to you. I walk carefully, tracing each moment with the patience of a dreamer who believes in what can be touched but is always felt. I think about how love is not the fire that burns, but the warmth that lingers after the flame fades. It's the scent that stays in a room long after someone has left, the laughter that echoes inside an empty heart. You've become that lingering warmth in me, the one that reminds me I am never truly alone. When I breathe your memory. When I sleep, I drift toward your pulse in the dark. You are the map I follow when the world loses meaning, the compass that points me toward grace. I no longer measure love in moments or promises, but in the quiet certainty that no matter where I stand, your soul reaches back toward mine. I often think of how our story was written, not in the language of time, but in the pauses between heartbeats, where everything tender dares to exist. There is a softness in remembering you, like tracing the edge of light with trembling fingers, afraid that too much touch might dissolve the beauty. Yet there's strength too, because love is both fragility and endurance. I have seen the way the world tries to test the sincerity of hearts, how silence stretches, how waiting feels endless, but still my affection stands unmoved. It grows in the unseen places, like ivy across ancient stone. I believe the bridge between our souls was never built by accident. It was forged in longing and made eternal through faith. And though oceans whisper between us, I feel your spirit walking toward me, unbound by time or space, carrying the sound of my name like a vow only we can hear. That's how love survives, through remembering. There are days when the wind feels like it carries your breath, and I close my eyes just to listen. I imagine you calling softly, not through words, but through the way the world stirs, leaves trembling, clouds moving, tides sighing. Every motion becomes a message. I think love must have its own frequency, one that only hearts like ours can hear. I have learned to trust it, to follow it even when everything else feels uncertain, because love is not meant to make sense. It's meant to make everything else matter. You have become my reason to believe that even the unseen has meaning, that absence is not loss, but another shape of presence. The bridge between our souls is not built from stone or steel, but from the promises we kept, even in silence. And when I walk across it in my heart, I know I am coming home, again and again, to the sound of you. Sometimes, when I'm alone, I write letters to you in my mind. Letters that will never be sent, but still find their way across the distance. They are made of soft confessions, of things too delicate to speak aloud. I tell you how love feels, like standing in the middle of rain that falls without sound, how it washes away everything but the truth of belonging. You are the reason I have learned that love doesn't demand to be seen, it only asks to be felt. Each letter becomes a step across the invisible bridge we built from faith, carrying me closer to you. Even when the world feels loud with everything else, I find stillness in your memory. There, time softens its hold, and my heart listens to yours. Steady, patient, eternal. You are the quiet that tames the storms inside me, and I think that is what forever truly means. Not endless days, but endless understanding. If I could show you the inside of my heart, you would find your name written across every corner, like constellations marking the path of longing. You are not just someone I love. You are the story my soul tells when words fall away. I carry you in my gestures, in the way my thoughts return to where you once stood, in how I still search for your reflection in the wind. The bridge between our souls is invisible, yet unbreakable. It exists in the way I feel you when I'm not looking, in the warmth that brushes my cheek when the world grows cold. Sometimes I wonder if you feel it too, the pulse that hums between us, the light that refuses to fade. Love has made me fearless. Not because it removes pain, but because it teaches me that some distances are illusions, and that real closeness is measured by the courage to keep believing. There's a certain kind of silence that feels like your presence, soft, patient, unspoken. It's in that silence I find my truest self, the one who isn't afraid to love beyond reason. I remember your laughter, how it once wrapped around me, like sunlight through old glass, and I still feel its echo lighting the quiet corners of my days. Love, to me, is that echo. It never ends, it only changes shape. When I think of you, the world seems softer, as if even the clouds understand the tenderness that binds us. The bridge between our souls stretches across time, holding every promise we've ever made. It reminds me that love doesn't fade into memory. It deepens into truth. Sometimes I reach across the air and whisper to you, knowing that somewhere your heart hears mine. That is the miracle of us. We never needed closeness to be complete. We only needed faith